We've just received the Meizu MX3, the Chinese manufacturer's latest flagship. It's up to par with 2013 standards with a 1080p display, Samsung's Exynos 5 Octa processor, Android Jelly Bean 4.2, and its own custom launcher on top called Meizu OS 3.0. The retail package of the Meizu MX3 is larger than what its predecessor had. Inside, you'll find the familiar booklet-style casing in which sits the phone itself, as well as a USB cable for charging, and the back panel ejector tool. There's also an AC adapter included. The MX3 follows in its predecessor's design approach, but features much narrower bezels that allowed Meizu to fit in a much larger screen without making the handset unwieldy. It has an all-glass front and a capacitive round home button below it. Above it, there's a tiny earpiece and the front-facing 2-megapixel Full HD camera. The screen is a 5.1-inch 1080 by 1800 display with a pixel density of around 412 ppi. The aspect ratio is an awkward-sounding 15 by 9, and the device is wider because of it. The volume rocker is on the left, while the right side is bare. The main microphone is placed on the bottom next to the micro USB connector. At the top, we find the 3.5mm headphone jack, and on its right, the power button. The latter is quite inconvenient to reach single-handedly due to the large screen diagonal. The back is white and features the hyperglazed transparent finish we've become accustomed to seeing from Meizu. The camera is an 8-megapixel unit with a 1.4 micron sized pixels, and there's a single LED flash under it. The back panel is removed in a tedious fashion. Meizu has included a clip with which to push back the lock lever. You then need to insert a nail to maintain this opening until you slide the tool in and move it along the sides until the back panel pops out. Underneath, there's a 2400 mAh battery and the micro SIM card slot. Meizu premieres its Meizu OS 3.0 on the MX3. You can unlock the device by swiping up from the home button. You're greeted by a vertically scrollable grid of apps and 2 home screens on either side for more apps or widgets. There are, by default, 3 apps in the dock, but you can add up to 5. Widgets are placed by holding a finger over an empty spot on your home screen. To enter the task switcher, you do a swipe up from anywhere around the home button. This brings up an iOS 6-like grid of apps, which you can swipe upwards to terminate. Doing a swipe closes all opened apps. If you slide to the right when the task switcher is enabled, you get the screen brightness slider, complete with a button for enabling and disabling automatic control. Above it, you get a list of customizable shortcuts. There are a few new apps on the Meizu MX3 worth mentioning. Painter is among them. It lets you doodle and offers a nice selection of tools for it. The browser does a good job of getting Chrome out of the way and focusing on the web page. The wider screen aspect ratio is great for looking at pages in landscape orientation.